going on, guys? I'm Orel, also known as Swag Tech. Find me on Reddit. Find a lot of info on Reddit. The subreddit, of course, is electronic cigarettes. We're talking about a personal vaporizer, a mechanical mod, 18mm battery, a lot like the smoke telescope, but completely different at the same time. It's this sexy beast right here. It's called the Xcalibur. Well, at least that's what SmokeRevolt.com calls it, and that's who sells it here in the States. It's $42.99, and it's a telescoping 1800 series device, which means that it'll go from an 18350 all the way up to an 18650, and of course, it accepts a kick. Yes, that was a moment of silence, because I'm happy, I'm excited about this device. Basically, it's a Chinese-made mod. The materials that are used to make it, I'm really not sure. I don't know whether it's copper, whether it's stainless, or whether it's titanium. I don't know what it is. I know it's durable. I've dropped it a few times. It's fell down the steps here at my apartment. I've only got one dent, and even in that dent, which I'm sure you guys can't even see, somewhere around in there, there is no tarnishing. Whereas on my Z-Max, I got plenty of tarnishing. And I love the Z-Max. I'm not bashing them, just saying, for a China-made mod, that's awesome. I'm going to take this thing apart while I talk. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lock this button. And locking the button, of course, allows it to stand up on its own, makes it solid, nothing moves. But this is the way it works. The button itself has stippling across it. And there's a skirt here that goes back and forth. The easiest way I found to lock and unlock this button is to grab the skirt and the stippling and turn, because the button turns freely on its own. So once we get that off, deal with the button. Of course, we're dropping out the battery here, which is an 18350 in my case, and we'll drop out the kick. Now, in its shortest form, it's about 3 to 4 inches long, maybe. So that's pretty small. That's the 18350. If you're just going to use the 18350 battery, that's how big it will be. Pretty good for stealth vaping. Just don't use Cardos with stealth vaping because of the loud popping and hissing noise. Alright, this part I'm going to be quiet for, because I'm going to take this completely apart, and I want you guys to listen to the threading. You hear that? There's no squeaking. There's no binding. There's no gritting. I love it. When it comes to China-made mods, a lot of them have issues. And this one's pretty good too. I just pulled out my Z-Max to have a check. A lot of them have issues with threading and precise threads. They got it right. Now this thing comes completely apart. I know you just seen me take it apart. And that's awesome, because sometimes you will have dirt and sand and grit get into the tube here in between these threads, and it'll cause a little squeaking. That's just because it's dirty. Take it apart, clean it out, put it back together. No problems. Standard 510 connection here. It is flush with the top there. So basically, they had to cut the notches. But the notches are cut perfectly, in my opinion. I haven't had any issues. Basically, with these notches, they're all lined up. So the notch that's cut in the body is in the same position as the notch that's cut in the 510 connection. There's a very deep drip well there. So it's going to catch your excess juices from whatever you're using. Also, it's deep enough to where you can use a drip shield without needing an adapter for 510 atomizers. So that's great as well. It is completely sealed. I had a question about that. I found out that I was just dripping very well, because I would think that I'm over dripping. I'd look at my juice well and nothing would be there. But it is completely sealed, and I was just an awesome dripper and did not know it. This is the positive connection here. This touches to the battery, of course. to receive the positive power or energy or whatever you want to call it, the technical term for such things. I'm not very P. Basardo like I know. The spring here is actually connected to the post. So your post is spring loaded, and depending on how tight you tighten the device, that says how far up that post goes. All that's going to matter when you're screwing on different devices, and I'll show you that in just a little while, because even though all 510 connections should be compatible, they're all not the same. And that's why if you deal with certain versions of the lava tube, you can't use a VV Nova because there's no airflow and things like that. That isn't an issue on this device. So the way that I've been using this device is with an 18350 and a kick. Small yet powerful, and the batteries charge pretty fast, so I can always vape one, charge one. So 2 batteries is enough for me to hit the road and go pretty much anywhere. Putting this guy back together, notice those smooth threads. I'm a stickler for smooth threads. Like nothing makes me happier, especially on a mechanical mod, than smooth threads. We're going to put the top back on here. And in lieu of putting the bottom on, I'm going to slide in this kick. My kick is currently set to 9 watts. Uh-oh. So we'll slide that in. Watch that spring on the kick. Put in the battery. Tighten it down. And we're good to vape. Now, at its tallest form, it's 6 inches long. So if you were to go with an 18650, or you like to have that longer battery life, you can. You won't be able to kick it with an 18650, of course. You're going to need an 18500 size battery to leave that extra room for the kick. But that's it in its longest form. I've never used it like this. I don't plan on using it like that. It's pointless when I can regulate smaller batteries. It's one of my favorite things to do. Keep it small, keep it powerful, keep it good. Alright, so I'm going to screw some different items on here, different atomizers that I have here. I got a Shorty Cardo that I got from Stormy's Vapor Cellar. It's a super shorty, which, you know, this is my first time hearing about it. When I looked, they said it was new. I wanted to try it, so I'm glad I did. Now, there's a lot of adjusting that's going to happen with me switching, because like I said, each 510 connection is different. And so, since that spring is connected to the post, sometimes you have to unscrew it a little bit in order to screw this down, and then you just tighten up and you're good to go. So that's that. Everything that I'm using, with the exception of this Tidy Clearo, is going to be standard resistance. So that was that at 10 watts. This is going to be the Tidy Clearomizer from Inokin. Now the thing about this Tidy Clearo is that it comes with a post that sits in the center, and it's supposed to wick between that center post and the wall, or the plastic wall of the atomizer, down to the coil. It wicked terribly. It would wick fine at first, and then you'd have to squeeze on it to get it to wick down. I pulled the post out. It's a dripping atomizer now. Forget that. And it works well, as you'll see. I'm going to drop some green apple juice in here from Mount Baker Vapor. And we'll pop this guy on here. We'll see how it works. So, pretty well. Not the vapor production that I wanted, but I think I just flooded the heck out of it. Yeah, I flooded her. So maybe I'm not such a great dripper after all. But it does work, and the airflow is there, as you heard. VV Nova. If you're waiting to see this one, because a lot of devices have issues with the VV Nova, or tanks in general. But if you can see that, where the VV Nova has been screwed down, the notches give you plenty of airflow, and remember they're lined up with the connection, so that air is just going to rush right in. It creates a smooth draw. It's not too stiff, but it's definitely not airy. It's somewhere in the middle, leaning on the stiff side, which is perfect for me for a VV Nova because it gives it time to wick, and I'm doing less of these. So that's that. Working very well. I got two other things to put on here. If you want to watch them, that's cool. Maybe you have, an 801, or you want to see how that works, or 306. If not, feel free to fast forward. I'm just going to grab another juice here, try something different out, and I'm going to drop the 306 on. If you're interested in a 306, that's pretty much it. If you don't know, it's, an atomizer there, and then your drip tip covers it. There are special drip tips for a 306. Please don't just buy a 306 atomizer, because you're going to get stuck with one of these guys. One of those cigarette toppers, and yeah, they're worth less. They're pretty much just a cover. So I got some Moo Juice here, also from Mount Baker Vapor. And I'm going to drop that in. I do this number with my 306 because I can see where the juice is, and yeah, I shouldn't do that, but hey, I do. Performing as well. I know a lot of people who watch my videos will say you do a lot of vaping on camera, but there's a reason for it. If you're looking to switch from cigarettes to vaping, one of the things that got my attention the most was vapor production, and I'm serious. A lot of the times, that's what grabs people's attention. It's not necessarily you putting something in your mouth, because 9 times out of 10 it's going to look like a pen. It's when you exhale this big plume of vapor, and the first thing they say is that a hookah? They love to say it's a hookah because of the amount of vapor, I'm guessing. But this is an 801. If you're unfamiliar with 801s, they're pen-style atomizers. They used to come with the starter kits. There are still some 801 starter kits out there. I like an 801 on a kick. The vapor's warm, it's thick, and the flavor is awesome. Now, with the 801, I'm using an adapter, and this is why I wanted to put this on here, so you can see that it does still work with an adapter. It works well, the airflow's there. So there you go, that's that. The Xcalibur as a whole, get to this. With the Xcalibur as a whole, I give it a 9 out of 10. The only reason why it gets a 9 and not a 10 for me is because of that spring that may or may not make a proper connection with the positive terminal of nipple top batteries. Whoa, that was a mouthful. I want there to be a plate or something there. Put the spring at the bottom, let me screw it all the way down. I enjoy the fact that the post is spring-loaded, and it makes all this stuff work, and that's great. But at least put a plate at the bottom of the screen, something that's definitely going to make a connection with whatever positive terminal is there. Other than that, this device is awesome. I mean, it looks good. I mean, it looks amazing, actually. You don't have to sacrifice form and function. You get them both. You get a locking button, allows you to sit it down, and yeah. I mean, it's a telescoping mod. What more can you ask for? It's mechanical. It's not a whole lot to say. It's going to perform as good as the batteries you put in it, or the kick that you put in it, or whatever you use it for. So, SmokeRevolt.com will get you this guy, $42.99. You can place an order by phone, go to their brick and mortar store in Toledo, or go online and, of course, order there. Also, check out their other mods. They have some other interesting ones that I would like to try out, so I might go back and shop with them again just to give those a whirl, because I haven't seen them over here in the States. They also have a kick now, and I think they just got this into their inventory, which is awesome because a lot of places are sold out of kicks, and a lot of classified forums are upping the prices of their kicks, which is weird. I mean, I don't see why you pay $60 for a kick when you can buy it brand new retail for $40, but whatever. That's pretty much it. This is my review of the SmokeRevolt.com Xcalibur. I like it a lot. I think if you're in the market for a telescoping mechanical mod, you should pick one up. I think if all you have are digital mods or electronic mods with wires, you should pick one up. Always have a mechanical backup. It will keep you off cigarettes and save you from when that electronic one actually dies. Well, I'm Orel, also known as Swag Tech. Thanks so much for watching, and spread the word. Save a life. It's New Year's. A lot of people have made their resolutions to quit smoking. Help them out. There are plenty of little kits you could have given as stocking stuffers. If you didn't, definitely, pick some up. I hand out some every now and again myself. So, I'm Orel. This is Swag Tech. You guys, have a happy New Year. Enjoy yourself. I'm going to put this stuff away.